For a small island developing state like Dominica, it's really important for us to look at a census as more than just the crops that is growing. We actually have to look at it as an agricultural ecosystem where we look at the spatial data as well as the social and economic situation in the area. That will include a participatory approach. We look at it as a participatory UAS framework for the agricultural census, where we'll look at the knowledge based in the community, the persons who are involved, as well as the GIS data we collect from the drones. There are several groups of information that we collect. The first being the core agricultural and land use data. Here we look at the size and the number of farms, whether or not it is cultivated, as well as the ecosystems, so any watersheds that are in the area, the elevations of the area, and any hazards that are associated. That will involve using the drone as a base map and integrating the information from the community themselves to complete it. We also look at the crop and livestock production data, the types of crops that is grown, estimated harvest that is expected, types of livestock, and any other innovative agricultural practices taking place in that area. We use field surveys as well as participatory drone mapping to validate this information. Then we have socio-economic data from farmers and the community, where we look at the demographics, the livelihoods of the persons, their participation in groups and cooperatives. This is actually when we look at how the members of the community integrate with the farming community. Then we look at the markets and infrastructure, at the conditions of the roads, the distance of the farms to the market, the distance of the farm to the post-harvest facilities, to the slaughterhouses, to any community points. We also look at things like the police stations and the services offered by the ministry, so the livestock office, the regional office, and the farmers' access to these areas. Then we have the environment, disaster, and climate resilience data. A lot of this will come from the drone imagery as well as our GIS data sets, the different models that we have already available. This is where the data from the Met Office, the data from Land and Survey comes in. We also look at the vulnerability, mapping the areas where we've had extreme hurricane damage, wind damage, water damage, etc. And then we have additional data sets that are important. So the legal status, registration of the land farmers, any digital platforms, the agro-processing in the areas. This is where the integration between the different parts of the ministry, so agriculture, environment, climate, the different offices, and how we share the same data for different applications. To get an agricultural census, we actually needed to look at what type of data was necessary. It took a lot of brainstorming. We had some serious sessions using pen and a whiteboard, just trying to select what was the critical information that we would be collecting. To help us with that, we also used the Toolbox because we had already been using that for data collection. So a lot of the subsets were already there, and we used that to assist us in creating our metadata table. Why did we have to do an agriculture census, or what is the importance? There are really a few important things that we have to look at, and it is for one, resource allocation. So when it comes to national planning and looking at what communities require, what infrastructure, where do we add money, where are the opportunities for investment, where are the high risk areas. It also helps us to support climate adaptation. And most importantly to me is where we get to look at the pre and post-disaster information, because when we go out and we do the census, we capture all of the information, and should there be a disaster, then it really doesn't take a lot to go out, recapture the new information, and compare it to what was previously done to give us an accurate and timely assessment of the damages that has been done.
We chose some as our pilot treatment. It's one of the most critical production points in the area where almost every house had either a backyard farm, agroforestry, and the commercial pumps. on some of the traditional farming and the cooperative in the area. We use the ground the multispectral to apply. We had to create the KML and then we translate to use that software comes with the pilot programs on the remote control. When we go to fly, we don't just go out and say, oh, we want to fly and we don't take the drone and send it up in the air. Sometimes we might even have to go in advance to look at the area to see what zones where we can take off from, where we can establish our flights. Dominica is a very difficult place to fly because most of the other islands they are flat and Dominica will not like that. So flying Salisbury, we encounter some problems with the when we fly. We have cliffs on both sides. So sometimes when the drone which one flying over one side it will drop. If you have the map, look at Pascal which flies. And the offer mosaic was 2.5. The resolution was 9 centimeters per pixel and the accuracy was at 40 centimeters. The red area is the higher elevation and was all the way down to the roof. So we will use that to measure how we can manage our flight. Material would be appropriate to standard materials. We will make more precaution when flying. These are the annotations. But I was extremely interested. If you see, this is all key, right? Let's consider the red areas is past the museum. That most of them and 3 clocks. Yeah, on areas continues that are one using will find at that present time they are close to watermelon and water table based on soil and capital. You can actually all different type of fields. So right now there's the livestock grazing, so oranges are all passion fruit, exotic. You can just look at the map, so using that as part. When we go to the football, we can have names and point the locations of the farmers, so we can actually go back and see. You got this from and that's where the farm is located. So whoever is looking at the map can actually know that the person has on the ground in real time.
So using on the screen, we have the method table. We have feature, classes, the geometry, and the attributes. So in this, we have a breakdown of everything that we capture. Through each feature has been color-coded for annotation purposes. Site results, annotation, data sum. This is of a report that drone deploy puts clear us in the backend. After putting in our annotations, you will see here that all the heavy lifting has been done. We can go in the backend, generate the report, and as you can see, you're able to download our CSV file. For example, question raising the entire area of this specific question and what the service area. With the help of the data that we have, is AI, and it shows us that our number one crop here is tomato eggplants, watermelon, and then 3 crop we have livestock, and you can see everything that is related to what these features are, and then specific attribute infrastructure. At the end of the day, we need to know what we have at present, and for this, another small methods, we need to be able to account for this. We put all these different areas together with the help of Dr. Kim. We have soil and agricultural data, potential rehabilitation area, social activities, hazards, administrative and support layers, and secondary data. Integrating the data from drone deploy and cobalt toolbox can significantly enhance data collection, analysis, and reporting for various applications. This integration allows for drone captured imagery and geospatial data with detailed field observation, creating a more comprehensive and insightful data set. Benefits include improved accuracy, efficiency, accountability, monitoring, and evaluation process. We have all data gaps and additional surveys, as well as stakeholder validation and participatory mapping for farmers, extension, and
the mapping frequency is the amount of times in a year we want to map that area so we slowly compare and contrast. The ideal time we thought would be 4 times a year because we no longer the most public costing 3 months. So the map constructing is not anything new. We don't want to take the same information, put it into the drone, and the whole thing doesn't even need to be there to fly. Because they can't just send us the information and then throw us to just go on, but fly the map, send the information back and then like the data. Or no, the time of before the start of the hurricane season and then when the end of the hurricane season so we can have that data to compare.